Ladies and gentlemen, it is time for everybody's favorite segment / podcast, and it is called Dave Meltzer's Dumb Moment of the Week. And we're going to bake them today. We got quite a bit to get to, so we're going to get right into things. I can't wait for it. Who's ready? Flutes in the chat. Ladies and germs, we start things off this week with a little bit of Dave Meltzer star ratings, okay? And I like to start the show with those because they're always funny and you can kind of gloss over them, but they should be noted for some of them. So Dave Meltzer star ratings for Full Gear 2025. Joe versus Hangman, 3.5 stars. Why? Because it was an actual match. Statlander, Mercedes Moné, 4.25 stars. $1 Million Trios match, 4.5 stars. Briscoe Fletcher, 5 stars. See, Fletcher's his new 5-star merchant. It's like the guy that he thinks has potential, and so he's going to take credit. Like, well, I was giving him 5 stars. Kyle O'Reilly, Moxley, 4.75. The Casino Gauntlet, 4 stars. FTR Brodito, 5 stars. Women's 4-way tag, 3 stars. Pac Darby, 4 stars. And it's like, and then Drainmaker writes it. 2 matches rated 5 stars, 7 matches with 4 stars or above. So it was the greatest wrestling card of all time in the history of pro wrestling.
It's the greatest thing I've ever seen.
But none of us remember it that way. Yeah, I mean. So moving along here, we're going to rip through some of these. On Thanksgiving, between falsely copyright striking my channel, allegedly, right? That's all. Allegedly. As friend of
allegedly.
The show. Yeah, so back in September of 24, Meltzer said we are getting closer to the big F4W divorce of 25. Alvarez was forced to once again take on the Beast Meltzer over different DVR systems, according to the overrun for AEW WWE. So this is a little flashback here. You guys already know. This is one of the most famous arguments in IWC history.
You were at SmackDown on Friday. You know that SmackDown actually went over and everything?
Yeah.
So what does it mean? What's the point?
The point is SmackDown.
What are you getting
the point? What are you getting at here, buddy?
DVR didn't pick it up.
Did they not pick it up?
Mine didn't.
Mine didn't.
I recorded the next show. It went off.
I recorded the next show though, so mine didn't go off.
And then it went off the air. I don't know.
Hey, am I on loop there? Yeah, I recorded the next show, so mine didn't. But I recorded the next show. Dave is so funny. He's so funny with his coat.
This is the case. I don't know if this is the case, but
I don't know.
Somebody tweeted me, but I've only had one person tweet me this, who said that they watched the TNT Sports, which is
he's coping,
the UK
dude.
version, that it went off the air in the middle of the show. I mean, not, in the middle of that interview segment too. But I got tweets from a lot of people who were watching on DVR and didn't record.
So you guys remember this, right? Like they got in this big fight. We'll play the end here. I'm gonna jump ahead a little bit because this is a throwback.
No,
I watched the show tonight. It cut off.
Guess what?
Cut off.
It will be when it is up. They put it up later.
Well, I know that, but how does that help me when I'm doing the show with you tonight?
I don't know. Well,
it doesn't help me.
Okay, so complain, but
I will complain.
Okay, but the fact
put me out of my misery. No, that's PW.
This is that my system, if I had not recorded.
Here's the thing, right? They've been arguing about this for years. This DVR, YouTube TV, these chuckle fucks don't even know how to use YouTube.
They didn't do it this week.
But I will bet.
So there you go. Here's back in 23. So that was in 24. Here's in 23, them arguing about this shit.
Well, perhaps
that's it.
But they don't know ahead of time. That's the difference. NXT knows ahead of time.
About the overruns. We've chronicled all this over the last couple of years.
Zoom, you're going 10 minutes over.
Okay, I'm just telling you that you have to review this as a sport, as a live sports event. And a live sports event, whenever you're recording a live sports event, you have.
Here's the thing, man. On Crave, they featured AEW like as a sport. Like that makes sense as like a sport, because our live sports, you can buy our pay-per-views through this thing or whatever. Like I understand it from that aspect, because nobody in Canada there, buddy, is getting craved to watch like hockey or whatever. None of that shit's on there, at least not to my knowledge, right? Like no one's getting it to watch CFL or like NFL or anything like that, right? We get it through other ways. So yeah, it's odd that Dave, like over the years and since 21, I guess HBO was like AEW's not a sport or whatever the fuck, and Dave's been running with they are, and then he flip-flops and says they're not when it's convenient for him. But here he's like, well, you got to look at it as a sport, Brian. And it's like, right? Do we really need to? Is that right? I don't know.
I can't make it record more time. It doesn't allow me to do that.
Record the next show. I can't either.
I don't know what the next show is. It's a random movie every week.
It's not that hard to find out. Go to the website and look at the schedule. They will, just like I do, they will tell you the movie.
Look at the schedule, Brian, just like I do. Bro, that's too many steps. That's too much stuff to do just to watch this fucking show. It's 2023 at this time.
Not that hard, and I go and record that movie. If I forget to do this, it's my fault. It's not their fault, because I know the score. Because it's the same thing, like, again, when I watch...
You're sweeping so hard, so passionate. Just, no, it's not my fault, Brian. It's their fault. It's your fault if you're too dumb to record this show.
UFC or Bellator, and if the main event, if
it's your fault, Brian, as the viewer, that they can't end on time.
If I miss the end of the main event because I forgot to record the next show, that is on me. That is not on them. Because
that is on me, Brian.
In the NBA, if it cuts me off with 4 minutes left in the fourth quarter of a close game, that's my fault. That's not their fault. And this is the same thing. You can say, oh, it's scripted. Dave, and you're right. You're right.
You could say, oh, it's scripted, and you're right, Brian, but look at it as a shoot. That's the problem. We've dissected this. I did it all the way back then. But Dave, like in these motherfuckers' minds, Sicko Vecna's mind, dude, AEW's a shoot. WWE and all that other foo-foo lame wrestling stuff, oh, that's all sports entertainment. AEW's a shoot. And we fucking a million stars to the moves and shit and the physicality. Go watch MMA. It's not a shoot, guys. You know what I mean? Like, we all understand this. That's the whole part of the agreement. And that's why you have a bunch of guys like doing this phony, cheesy, hardcore shit. And then you have Dave be, oh, well, treat it like it's a real sport. It's not, though, dude. It's a scripted thing. We all know. Why would we treat it differently than pro wrestling, than the way pro wrestling's been treated since, I don't know, the 80s? Like, when the fuck did people, I mean, the 90s or whatever, when did people stop, like, believing? You know?
Don't just add a 10-minute...
Whatever. This is an old clip. We went over all this. I'm not going to re-rant old rants. You can go back. The whole playlist is available. Dave Meltzer, Dumb Moment of the Week playlist. But fast forward, it's Thanksgiving. Instead of sharing holiday cheer and the Christmas spirit, these two motherfuckers are arguing over this same thing they've been arguing about for 3 years now. 23 to 26. It's almost 26 now. They've been arguing over fucking YouTube TV and the overrun and what gets recorded and how AEW doesn't fucking... So, like, and I get it. They're arguing over it. But Brian is like calling shit out. Dave is just in full-blown denial. Can't admit this whole time that this could possibly be an issue. Or they're just too dumb to know what the fuck they're doing. And this can't even be levied as a criticism against Tony Khan, the best guy, Brian, in Dave's mind. And it's mean. Why is that turned down? Meanwhile, they've been fucking arguing over it for 3 years.
The best guy's
like,
Tony Khan.
At what point do you attribute some of this to, like, yeah, maybe this is what's fucking them up in the ratings and stuff too, you know? So let's listen to this here. From Meltzer said what?
All these years, they still haven't fixed this YouTube TV overrun thing. The show ended at 2:01. Right in the middle of this match.
And Meltzer said what? The GOAT says, Tony Khan, you have ruined Dynamite, Dave and Bryan Alvarez's Thanksgiving, by not getting the YouTube TV overrun issues fixed. You have called, and it's still not fixed after years. The divorce papers are being filed.
The replay was not up yet, so If I hadn't had Max, once again, and this happens every week, by the way. So,
Well, that's YouTube TV's fault.
2025, the end of the year, almost 3 years now. That's YouTube TV's fault, Brian. Dude, why doesn't Tony Khan know his streaming numbers? Why doesn't Tony Khan know? Do I have a what in this motherfucker? Why doesn't he know his streaming numbers? Why doesn't he know? Or why can't he like call them and figure this out and configure it? Like, look, just give us an extra 30 minutes. Like record, if people record over, we need like 30 more minutes because of this overrun or whatever. Just hey, YouTube, can we work out a thing where this redirects to our channel where we will air the last 30 minutes? Like, think of something. How has Tony not figured this out?
know.
It's just on YouTube. Nothing you can do, Bri.
AEW should tell them, add a 10-minute overrun to every show, just like NXT used to do. There's never a problem with NXT. Never. It's only AEW.
Well,
so it's not just YouTube TV.
That's YouTube TV's problem. They should be.
So Brian just goes, yo, it's not like just there. It's not just YouTube TV. And then Dave goes, well, I mean, it's YouTube TV's problem. They should really fix this. Dave, you're a fucking clown shoes.
Figured this out.
Well,
I feel as though you are clown shoes.
Say that, Dave, but it's also a problem for the people who are trying
clown jewels on shoes.
Watch AEW.
I have a fever, guys. It's been a long day.
They don't see the end because they don't have Max.
I think I'm coming down with something over here now.
So yeah. I think that AEW should have a discussion with YouTube TV and just say, have the show be 10 minutes longer.
I would presume that they have and have not gotten anything changed. I mean, you would think
I would assume they did and nothing got changed. Okay, well, that's shitty then.
Thinks,
but it's YouTube's fault though. It's not theirs.
So, but this happened every week on NXT. There was always the overrun built in. It's never like that for Dynamite.
Well, I can't tell you what the problem is when it's every week. They should have figured it out by now.
They should have.
Oh, there you go, Dave. There you go, Dave.
Yeah.
So then.
That's YouTube TV not figuring it out. I mean,
it's both of them, Dave.
Oh, wait, he meant. So he was just saying YouTube should have figured it out. Never mind.
If it was.
Look it up, Dave.
How is it both of them? We already know
because Tony needs to call YouTube TV and say, you did this for NXT.
Tony doesn't call.
You did this for NXT.
Tony doesn't call. Oh, my God.
The best guy's Tony Khan.
Oh, he's too good to call.
Oh, my God. It's the greatest thing I've ever seen.
Tony doesn't call. Tony only calls me, Brian. Tony doesn't call anyone. Why would Tony call people, Bri? Tony doesn't call. You better call him. If you don't call him, Brian. Oh, my God. I can't believe that. And that's what it is with the wrestlers there, or the superstars there. That's what it is. That's what it is in AEW. Like, you can't talk. It's Tony McCann. It's like Vince. You got to wait outside his office or whatever till 3 a.m. till he comes and talks to you. Right? We have video evidence that Tony Khan does call. He calls Dave Meltzer is who he fucking calls. Okay? Dave doesn't. Dave, I don't call. Tony calls me. I'm his daddy, though. Dave calls no one. Tony only calls me, and Tony calls no one either, Brian. Like, what is this weird hierarchy? Tony doesn't call. Why? It's for the benefit of his business. It's to make his business run better for the fans. He doesn't think about the fans. I know people want to cope and go, well, the $30 tickets. No, that's because that's all they can charge for those fucking things. Okay? And that's not bad. I'm glad. Yeah, the $30 show, I'm all for it. But that's what like indies charge. There's indies that charge more than that for tickets. Okay, so that's just what he can charge. If he could charge $1 billion and get Saudi money, he fucking would. You know what I mean? But he can't do that. So to say like he won't pick up the phone and call YouTube TV. Like, how hard do you got to sweep for this guy? Dave learned sweeping from fucking Kenny Omega, the cleaner. Holy.
That's not Tony's job. That's the job of the station.
That's not Tony's job. That's the job of the station. Here's the problem. No, it isn't. Because in this situation, in this landscape, the way things have changed, Tony's not the A side. YouTube TV doesn't give a fuck if AEW's on there or not. If AEW goes tomorrow, I'm sure they don't care. They don't give a fuck. There's billions of hours of content and shows and shit being made. You know? So Tony Khan, if he really cares about the fans and if he can tweet people and tweet sickos and poach TNA fans and tweet people about, oh yeah, we're switching Mina's music back right now and make these videos from the Super Yacht Kismet, he can fucking pick up the phone and go, YouTube TV, why is our show getting cut off? Let's say even back in the day in Meltzer's olden fucking age, right? Let's go back in time, right? Where's my flashback sound here, okay? We need to go back and travel back in time. Imagine like there's a fucking station or a network. It's so funny because Bischoff pwned Dave for like calling things stations and whatnot, whatever. We're going to get into that. But imagine like there's a station, a network, whatever the fuck, or even a streamer, right? And then your show's getting cut off and then they don't fix it. And even let's say you gave it the benefit of the doubt. And let's say Tone was just laying in the cut like, okay, I'll give them 3 years to see if they'll figure out, like, at what point would, even back in the day, would you not pick up the phone with the fucking, guy who owns the company or the producers of the show or whoever the fuck funded the sitcom or whatever, just anything. It doesn't even have to be wrestling. They wouldn't pick up the phone and call YouTube and be like, hey guys, you're fucking cutting off our show. You know what I mean? So Dave it's just massive cope, and they've been having the same argument for 3 years, and Dave won't relent. He just won't relent.
Tony's doesn't call up and go, do this.
Oh, we need that for the soundboard. Tony doesn't call up Brian and say, do this. Oh my God. And then meanwhile, incoming call. Tony Khan. Right? Where's that clip? Do I have to pull that fucking clip up? Tony Khan calls Dave Meltzer. Dave Meltzer getting phone calls from Tony Khan live on the air. Or maybe he wasn't live, but they were certainly recording an episode. And he's on the air getting calls, incoming Tony Khan. And Dave's like, oh, Tony doesn't pick up the phone. Why would Tony Khan ever pick up the phone? Bro, you gotta be kidding me. Yeah, I can't find it. It's just they scrubbed it for sure. They scrubbed it for sure. I got to strike. Yeah, whatever. It doesn't even matter.
Tony's doesn't call up and go, do this. That is the station. The station figures this stuff out.
He can't call TNT.
Well, he can call you, Dave. He can call Wrestling Observer. He can't call TNT or YouTube TV or whatever.
Hey, you realize our show's cut off every single week? Can we remedy that?
You don't think that they have not called?
Honestly, no. Because it's now been 2 years.
And Dave's like, you think they haven't called? Tony doesn't just call. And then Brian's like, well, he should call and do this. Then Dave goes, just flip-flops immediately. That's why I put it in the title. There's so much of that tonight. You think they haven't called? And then Brian's like, I don't think they have. And then Dave is about to say, like, I can tell you for sure they have, or something along those lines. Why? Because Tony called him. Dave knows Tony calls.
I am certain that they would have called.
I am certain that they would have called. Not revealing things that he knows about Tony Khan. If that was Trips, he'd go, yeah. I was on the call. It was a 3-way call, Brian. I was in the room.
And they would have told this.
Listen, next time Tony is doing an interview with you, I want to be on the show. I will ask him this question.
Why isn't Brian on the shows when Tony's on?
He's called. Of course he hasn't called. That's not his job.
And then Dave just fucking switches gears. Of course that's not his job. The best guy.
He's called. Of course he hasn't called. That's not his job.
The best guy is Tony Khan.
It's the station's job number one.
So Brian can't come on and ask him why he hasn't called. And then Dave, why won't you? Like even Brian saying, dude, and like shadow trying Brian a little bit. But even Bryan's like, dude, I will ask him next time you interview him. Well, why? And it's because Bryan will be critical as shit. And that's why Tony Khan is fucking keeps him at bay and keeps him out of the little circle, right? Now Bryan knows his agenda, but Dave and Tone are little best friends, man. He runs booking ideas and shit by Dave. I guarantee it, allegedly. This is South Park. I'm making shit up here.
Allegedly.
Hit the like button. So yeah, he's just sweeping for Tony here. Just insane meltdown over fucking defending and getting mad over this YouTube TV shit, and then melting down when Bryan's like, and just completely switching back to what you were talking about, like just completely not even addressing what Bryan said about, I'll come on and ask him these questions. And Dave's just like, what? You would ask him this question? And it's like, well, why won't you ask him the question? I thought you're a fucking journalist. Meanwhile, you have poor Bryan. We covered it on last week's show, coping and making excuses for fucking Dave. And saying, oh, yeah, you know, Dave, like, why wouldn't Tony call Dave up?
Bryan.
You know, Tony actually talks to journalists. Like, he was defending fucking Dave for Tony calling him. And now Dave is just having a meltdown hissy fit on fucking Bry, defending Tony, and just completely skirts the question and is like, yeah, you're not going to come on. And how dare you suggest that I do journalism? Wow, Dave.
He hasn't called. That's not his job. His job is it's the station's job, number one.
Can he call the station? I'll ask him that question.
I'm sure. Yeah.
Somebody should be calling somebody, because WWE got this handled the first week. I know if they got it handled, Tony can get it handled. So let's get it done.
Yeah, well, it should be.
Well, it should be. You know what it should be is
the people who watch the show.
No, we can't add.
Oh, the people who watch the show, yeah, they're dwindling.
That.
No, you should be able to call up and go, we don't get it, and they should go, okay, we got to fix it.
Well,
so it's up to the people to call and make their voices heard, which I do kind of agree with social media. But like Dave thinks that in 2025, it's like back in the fucking in 1987 when you'd like write a letter to CNN or whatever when you thought they were fucking up, or when they played something aired something where you were like, that's egregious, or like a sitcom went too far or something like that. You know, people would write letters and call the station. Like, it just doesn't work that way, man. And it just seems like incompetence when you factor in everything else. So like, Dave, isolated, yeah, this isn't that big of a deal, and that's why it's funny you're spurging. But if you look at also, Tony doesn't know the streaming numbers. He doesn't have any say. He can't get on the phone with anyone to stop the show getting cut off. They don't know what's happening with Collision. They have nothing solid. They don't know where their placement is when Warner Bros. Splits into two companies and it looks like Netflix is trying to buy them out with cash. He doesn't know shit about anything. He doesn't know the streaming numbers, but we've had great growth and we're closing gaps and shit. It's like when you factor all that in, the fights backstage, the walkouts, the fucking drama, the people who've had to leave, like almost everyone who's left, it's like there's a stink on it from that Mega girl, that lawyer Mega, what was her name? Mega or whatever. I forget. Megan, whatever. And she left, and there's like stink on her all the way up to wrestlers like CM Punk. He leaves and there's stink on him. And even Rhodes, who helped created the company, he leaves and there's stink there. People are talking about Anna Jay should go to NXT, and I like that idea, but it's like, well, what happens when she's at a show? Punk's at NXT's. She brings Jack Perry there. They get in a fucking grappling match, and a table gets bumped, and Shawn Michaels goes on TV and says he feared for his life, or what? Like, these are the things that when you add up Tony Khan's bullshit, like what he chooses to focus on and what he chooses to like skirt or like not take accountability for, it's like, yeah, this is on him. Right? Like, the fans, I think, are making it clear. It's just that a fucking podcaster saying something about it. If the fans were like, Tone, you got to stop it but not enough people are watching it either. So what Dave's saying is like, the people should right to YouTube TV, Brian. He's kind of right, but it's like not enough people watch it. That's the proof right there. There's no stink. And so Dave his job's to shill for AEW, so he's not going to let Brian say the shit. And then with Tone, he's not going to listen to this because it's just a guy on a podcast saying you can't talk shit about Tone. That's why Bry's not allowed there when fucking Tone and Dave do interviews, right? That's why Tone went back on Ariel's podcast after all this time, because why? He even said it on the show, because Ariel started saying some nice things about him. And Ariel let that slide. I would have called. That's the one thing I would have called out if I was Ariel. Like, so what? I have to say nice things about you constantly for you to come on my show? Like, I can't be critical of anything? Is that what you're saying? But obviously, he's not going to make it awkward or whatever.
Let's get a call-in campaign. How about an email campaign? I'll do.
Mega Perek. Yeah, see, I just butchered the name. Thank you for putting that in chat. I know I butchered it.
Do a writing campaign.
Should have done that.
I'll put a stamp on an envelope.
Yeah.
So I was going to call her Mega Con, and I'm like, that's like when Tony and his dad do the fusion dance or something. That's not right. Mega Con, she's not related to them. She was like their lawyer or something, right?
Max, so I'm not worried about it anymore, but I'm thinking about the other people.
Yeah, well, I don't know what to tell. I don't know what to tell you. Every other system in the world gets it right except for one.
Well, the one just happens to be the largest streaming provider.
Exactly, and that's the problem. And Dave refuses to acknowledge this. So what Brian's saying to Dave right now is what I say on my show all the time. It's what Switchblade97 tweets out all the time. YouTube is the number one. It's the largest streamer. So it does not definitively mean that. It doesn't definitively mean that, like, okay, most people are watching on YouTube AEW shit, but it's a good indicator of like what's trending, how strong is it trending in comparison to other shit. You can cross-reference it with the Google Analytics or the Google Trends, which all match up. Switchblade does that. We look at it on the show, on PWT live shows Wednesdays and Saturdays, and it always aligns, right, with what's trending on Google and what's going down on YouTube. And I know YouTube's like a Google company, but you guys get what I'm saying. So the pay-per-view buys, Dave doesn't want to address that. He will for MMA because he has no dog in that fight, but he doesn't want to address that with AEW because he knows that looking at the YouTube trends, which is the biggest streamer, which you have to acknowledge that when you look at that for AEW, all of his lies about these pay-per-view, he literally said for the last 3 pay-per-views that they've done the best since All In. I swear the last 3, he's like the best since All In, the best since All In. Strong pay-per-view numbers, Brian. But it's like, no, man, we can look at people's interest on YouTube, the largest streamer. How many people are in their chat? When there's 9K in their chat for All In, and then there's 1.4K or whatever the fuck for this last pay-per-view in their chat, I promise you they didn't do that good of pay-per-view buys. You know, like, what's the interest there? Like, why would people buy it? Why would they do about 100,000 buy? There's about 100,000 people that are just die-hard AEW, will watch, buy every single fucking thing. I'll accept that. Okay. 100,000 to 150,000, but not 150,000 pay-per-view buys. That's because even Dave doesn't say it's doing 150,000 pay-per-view buys. Even he won't cop to that. He'll be like around 130,000. So, and that's where the mythical 30% came from with Amazon. So Brian's like, yo, the number one streamer, like the number one streamer that people consume shit on, that AEW's available on, this show gets cut off. And Dave, that just broke his brain. You can tell because he didn't have like an interruption response. Right?
I don't know what to tell you. Every other system in the world gets it right except for one.
Well, the one just happens to be the largest streaming provider of television in the entire country. They have the most subscribers of any of these streaming stations. So this would be an important one to make sure it has an overrun.
Yeah, well, but everybody else.
but I mean, everybody else understands. Yeah, we get it. But you get that everybody else is becoming less and less people every year, bro. Everybody else is fine. Fuck those people on YouTube, even though there's probably a huge, significant amount of people like there's maybe like for AEW, comparable to AEW. Not, again, when I say huge, significant, it's like for AEW, every view counts, as we know. As we know, Dave and Tone and all these guys will scrape the bottom of the barrel. to try and fucking count views and shit. PlayStation Vista. For AEW, there's probably a good chunk of people watching the show, but then this is the problem. They don't care. They just switch over. They just wait until it's uploaded to AEW's YouTube, and then they go and watch it. So you can look at the YouTube numbers, and I would say give any YouTube video they upload that's like, this is what happened in the overrun. Give it like a week, and then cut that number in half. And I bet that's like the amount of people, maybe even less than that. I'm actually kind of talking out of my ass. I'd have to go look. I actually haven't like looked at the last, like, how many overruns were uploaded and what numbers do they average. So it's been a while. Since we've looked at the YouTube numbers, right? There was a bit of a deep dive with the Moxley stuff when this guy put together this whole thread that we debunked using like YouTube numbers and shit. So that was like a year ago or so. So I don't want to talk on my ass, but I'm just saying that a lot of people, I'm sure, just go, fuck it, I'll watch it on YouTube. They'll just upload it to their YouTube in like an hour. And that's how a lot of people consume WWE as well. A lot of people thought like, hey, when we add Netflix WWE to India, we're going to get like millions more viewing. But like, no, dude, they're just going to watch it on YouTube. Like, people just watch on fucking YouTube. They stream this shit. But that's why this is so important. And Brian's actually on point coming at Dave with this here. Like, he's really trying to drive this home because it is important. It's important for AEW, man. And I've said this too for the longest time. YouTube should be AEW's play. They should have just stuck with Dynamite, not added any other shows. Rampage should have been like a fucking, here's a recap show, an hour-long show of like 3 of the best matches hosted by Tony Schiavone from like our guys working indies. Or like working AEW indie or house shows, like non-televised. We're doing these shows, running it like indies. That's what I thought they were going to do, man. And we're going to have our guys fucking wrestling like it's the indies and shit, and really growing this fan base. And we're going to film like, here's, 3 featured matches. Welcome to Friday Night Rampage, whatever. I'm Tony Schiavone. And then they have a YouTube presence, like Dark and Dark Elevation, that AEW Dark show. They should have just kept it. And that show, it was perfect as far as like being it became just like, here's only developmental people or like young guys who can't be on Dynamite yet. But at the same time, they were able to do that where it's like, okay, on this episode of Dark, here's some matches from Jericho's Boat. Here's a Dark match we filmed at Dynamite. Here's like that. I think that's the route they should have fucking went, in my opinion. And then you could have like really, I think, blown that up, because that would have been the true alternative. You guys know what I mean? Like, instead, Tony wants to go this like, we're a weekly TV show, TV rating challenger brand. Let's do white ropes and LED board fucking back. It's like, okay, you want to do the sports entertainment TV game? Like, you want to, then okay, then you got to play that game, and like, you're going to get smoked. You guys sit there and go, we're not even real. We're real wrestling, bruv. We're not even sports entertainment and all this shit. Like, well, too bad you're now sports entertainment. You had that opportunity to be that alternative. And then Dynamite is like your sports entertainment weekly show with your big stars. And then you go and like infest the indies and go around the world and work with Japan and do tours in Japan, AEW, and then you have like a weekly show. That was always my vision of like how AEW would have worked. You had to lean into the fact you're like a super indie, and they got away from that. And so the point I'm getting at, to bring a full circle here, YouTube's so important. That's always been the play for AEW in my book. They should have always tried to make their YouTube presence as big as possible.
Every other streaming Sling gets it. All my cables, all the cable gets it. Everybody gets it.
Everyone gets it, Brian.
The problem is YouTube TV.
The problem is everybody. Now listen, I bring this up because
it's only one thing. It's like saying it's like last month with the
week
on the pay-per-view.
Oh my God, on the pay-per-view, man.
Paramount Plus, if you remember, they cut the pay-per-view off. I think it was the last show, not this last one, but the one before. They cut it off because they had a screw up. It was fine everywhere in the world. You can't say it's AEW's fault. No, it's Paramount.
Oh my God, Dave. Oh my God, man! I didn't think we'd spend so much time on these clips, Dave. That Paramount thing's an isolated incident. What Bryan's talking about, and I can't believe I'm defending Bryan Alvarez, but what Bryan's talking about is a 3-year ongoing issue that you guys have been arguing about for 3 fucking years.
Mount's fault. Well, actually, it was not even their fault because it was somebody.
It's not their fault either. Actually, I can't offend them because, they might buy the company that I own. I mean, I don't own.
Like screwed everything up in the whole world that week, and Paramount was one of the people that got screwed up. But the point is that like when everyone gets it right and only one gets it wrong, it's the one who gets it wrong. If everyone got it wrong, then we'd have. Yeah,
but if they, oh my God, whatever, we can't. Problem. It's like, okay, but it's been 3 years, so Tony isn't calling them and going, "You're fucking this up. We're gonna take our shit off YouTube TV." No, because they can't afford to do that. Why? Because YouTube's the fucking A side. Tony doesn't pick up the phone. Tony's not the A side. Doesn't matter that he's a billionaire. All these fucking people. Man, this is the problem, too. You have all these sickos and Dave Meltzers and all these John Albas and these fucking sickos, okay? And they're always like, capitalism, corporate, whatever. Meanwhile, you got Tony Khan getting crowds to chant pay-per-view, to do pay-per-view chants at him. Literally. And you have Dave Meltzer and these guys who sweep for Tony because he's a billionaire. And they sit there and go, well, he has all the money. Oh, I mean, he actually made $4 million this year, so he's not a money he has all the money. Tony doesn't pick up the phone. He's too big a deal. He's a billionaire. He's on the super yacht Kismet, Brian. Why should we care about that? He claims he cares about the fans and he wants to do what's best for wrestling, and everyone says he really cares about wrestlers. Yes, he really gives them a lot of money and really enjoys wrestlers. Okay, but like where's the house shows? Where's the fucking opportunity? Think about your wrestling on this show. And because he's paying you well, you busted your ass, you're in this main event. He books you in an overrun. And then you don't get seen, or your finish doesn't get seen because he won't pick up the phone and call YouTube TV or whatever. Like, imagine that. Is that good for the boy? I don't know, man. Oh, it's all good. They're getting paid lots and work less dates. Okay. So you're cheering, yay, capitalism on this side, but then when people are cheering because they're a part of a historical attendance and live gate, which they do in other sports, by the way, all of a sudden that's like a bad thing and boo capitalism. I'm just getting sick and tired of it.
But Dave, listen, if we did this show at 12:30 every Wednesday, which we do, and at 1:30 every week your internet cut out, and we just sat here and blamed the internet company. It's not just the internet. We need to call the company and say, hey, it's cutting out at 1:30 every Wednesday. I need the internet on. Can we fix this problem? There is a responsibility for us and also for Tony and TNT and TBS.
Facts.
Yes, and all of them to get together and figure this out.
And guess what? When it comes to something like that, we wouldn't have the power, and they'd cut it off anyway.
Well, we would have to at least try.
Well, you think
and then he just black pills, and then Dave just black pills his audience. Oh, well, even if we did, it wouldn't matter anyway. It's all, the earth is doomed, Bri. It doesn't matter. What is life?
If you think no one's tried from TBS in
Yeah, I don't know, man. It's just constantly like making excuses. You guys have been arguing about it for 3 years. You think no one's tried? Well, then make a bigger stink about it. And so I wanted to end things with something funny here. Here's Dave Meltzer's reaction to Bret Hart claiming that Shawn Michaels and Vince McMahon are gay.
Emotional damage.
And so, yeah, let's listen to Dave's take on
Bret did a thing where he said he's figured out that he thinks that Vince and Shawn Michaels.
He said he's figured out that Bret did a thing. Dave always has his info wrong. No, Bret said this like years ago, and I think people laughed it off like, oh, yeah, gay joke. Yeah. Yeah, they're gay. But then it's whatever. He's an old man, right? Like these fucking boomers don't. They so whatever. He's just fucking it's like Goldberg. That's a fruity boy, right? We made fun of it here on the show a bunch of times. But no, Bret's like, no, dude, I swear they were like You know, they were blowing each other. You know, they were like blowing each other in that, you know.
We're lovers, and that's why things happened the way they did. And, you know, that's led a lot of people to a lot of talk. Jim Ross said it was bullshit, but he also said that he thought Bret was just trolling and just trying to go for attention. And I can tell you this, when Bret does stuff, he's not looking for attention. He just speaks his mind. And I think that there's reasons that he just says what comes to his head. Now, do I believe this? If I had $1 for every time I was told that somebody got a push based on having sex with a promoter, both men and women, I'd have a lot of money.
Dave just stooging the business. He's like, everyone's gay. Everyone's banging their bosses to get in. You have to blow people to
Sometimes
fucking
in
get
life, you gotta be a hoe.
Oh, man. Putting shit on blast.
Because
I'd have a lot of money, and I don't right now. 50% off on Wrestling Observer, Brian.
wrestling people will
All year-long sale. New subscribers only. Old subscribers, fuck you guys. Full price. In fact, it's $2 more starting next month.
reach that conclusion whether there's something to it or not. But, you know, the thing that I would say for sure is that Bret Hart is not doing this to troll. He's not one of these goofs. And there's many.
Bro, it's crazy because he said this before. Like, Dave, you don't study and learn. Not that I care. Like, I don't care. Like, not everybody can know every single fucking thing about everything in the world. Like, not everybody can fucking, you know, you see a tweet go up, you react to it. Another tweet goes up 4 hours fucking later. And then it, you know, and then it's like, well, my old tweet doesn't even make sense now because this new information. But he's just wrong about everything. Like, he doesn't know about shit. He just speculates on everything. And he's like, you know, he's not saying this to troll. Yeah, we know. He said this like, how long ago? Didn't he say this like a decade ago? He said it before troll was even like common vernacular. No, I'm sure 10 years ago people were trolling. But you guys get what I'm saying. Like, Bret said this more than once, like a long time ago. So this time, yeah, it's not a troll, but he really believes it.
From the past, we're just looking to say anything.
So it's like common sense, Dave. Like, you know, he's saying it, but it's, I mean, it wasn't a troll, but he's not bringing up like, well, he said this a bunch of times in the past. He believes it.
Thing, you know, just to get attention, get people to respond. I mean, he's told me himself that he tries not to.
He calls me on the phone like Tony
say stuff about WWE because he gets a lot of heat when he does, number one. And number two, you know, he doesn't want any residual heat on Natty. That was like the big thing that he said. You know, I mean, look, Sean's a super talented guy. He was going to get pushed because he's a super talented guy.
Yeah, well, Dave being fair and balanced, but Natty getting ready for that super push right now. Shooter Natty. You're flip-flopping. You're a fucking clown. And because of that, we will forever clown you. We will forever play flutes because that, ladies and gentlemen, was Dave Meltzer's Dumb Moment of the Week.
This just in, we have confirmed that Dave Meltzer fears PWT and flutes.